Alright guys, before we start today's video, a lot of you have asked the question, how do you guys do those awesome dual vlogs where you can both hear each other super clearly and get the audio just right? Well, it's actually through our Cardo systems. They're a proud sponsor of the channel, and if you've never used one before, you're kind of missing out. It's kind of like a Discord lobby or a PlayStation game or something like that, where you can just hear the other person super clearly. And right now, Cardo's having an awesome sale where you can get 30% off your first Pack Talk Black if you click the link down below. So thanks again to Cardo for supporting the channel, supporting this series.
Man, this is a blast. Old banana man, banana bike.
With bananas in your backpack.
Oh, a dream.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Yammie Noob. We are here today with the Aprilia RS660, the MT09, our former intermediate bike giveaway, and Josh. He's back once again to lend his great powers of noob biking and give a swing over the Aprilia RS660. Now, this one's interesting because this is a motorcycle, unlike the V2, unlike the Daytona 765. This is a bike, from what you've told me, so I believe you so far, that you actually want to own and ride, right? So tell me why you're interested in this bike.
100%, man. As soon as they announced this bike, I think everybody on their first bike or so, somewhere in there, was like, wow, that is obviously the next bike for me. What a dream machine. 100 horsepower, all the tech you could want, fully fared and beautiful, lightweight. It didn't compromise on anything. So
Track ready?
Track ready? Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I have looked at this bike. I have looked into purchasing this bike. And I can't believe you've kept me off it this long. I'm very excited to ride it.
Hey, I had to get my mileage in on it, you know. I got to make sure the giveaway bikes are good before I let anyone else test them, right?
We thank you for that.
Yeah, so of course, as you guys know, this is one of our giveaway motorcycles. Hit the link down below to yammie.co. Find out how you can get entered to win this Aprilia RS660. That MT09 is on its way out to its winner. We've already selected it by the time this video has gone out. And yeah, without further ado, Josh, swing a leg over it. Let me know what you think.
Let's do it. Okay. Tall seat. A little bit tall.
You look good on it, though, I'd say.
Really nice.
I know.
Okay.
The lever feels so good, isn't it?
Yeah, the lever feel is great. The clutch is extremely lightweight. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small package. It doesn't feel huge, long, or anything like that.
Do you notice right here you got like the cutout so it looks even smaller, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, yeah, you get like tucked in here and you can like see the ground below, and there's a lot of, you know, open area in here. Beautiful cockpit for sure, and I've seen the dash come on before, and I know how great that looks. Man, be a racer.
So I think you're set in individual mode, so yeah, you've got wheelie control turned off and ABS off. Is that how you want to ride, or do you want me to switch it to something else?
Nope, that's how I ride.
Sweet. We'll turn it on. Let me know how you feel.
All right, let's do it. Man, very nice. Yeah, it does that Aprilia thing where it barks to life. And
yeah, they all do that for some reason. It sounds good for a P-twin, right?
Sounds like very, very good, yeah.
Now, I'm curious. You haven't ridden it yet, but I feel like this bike is so similar to the Panigale V2, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. I've only ridden a few fully fared super bikes, and they're just always on the like really high end. It just has worked out that way. This feels a lot like the Panigale V2 though.
Yeah.
The seat is soft. That's, you know, not something you get, I think, on the really, really competition ready ones. They don't give you this nice squishy seat.
No, the R1's like a plank. Yeah.
The bars, though, you can definitely tell they're higher than like some clip-ons that would be below your triple tree here. Yeah, it's very amenable ergonomics here.
Yeah. It's my line, Josh, amenable ergonomics.
I'm learning the jargon here. There's a lot of buttons and things. That's cruise control. Yeah. This gets you through all the menus, and
yeah, you got cruise. We'll pull off it. So we'll make this a nice long ride, but we'll pull off at some point, and I'll teach you cruise control and stuff. But I think I just want you to get a bare bones feel for the bike. So you want to get out on the road? Try it out?
Yeah, absolutely. Out here on our favorite road. I love this road. All right, I'll follow you. Wow, if anybody's worried about like the 100 horsepower being slow, it is not slow.
You haven't even got on it yet.
No, it is so not slow. If you think 100 horsepower is slow, you haven't ridden enough motorcycles. This is, oh yeah, it's got this nice rumble. That's the 270-degree crank. Doesn't feel like one of those like Z650.
It looks super cool going down the road. I've never seen it just like kind of cruising down the road, but I love the way the headlights look.
Yeah, it's ridiculously comfortable. I'm a lot more upright than I kind of thought I would be.
One thing I like about the RS is how stable it feels mid-corner. Aprilia's done a great job of setting the bars up really wide, and it just feels nice and stable. It's super confidence-inspiring, and it feels like a really nicely worn-in set of gloves when you get on it. It's so sweet. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think the first place I feel that is like where my leg rests on it. It's made to just hug your legs, so you've got that confidence to kind of hold yourself on the bike when you're leaning it over. It's nimble. It's very nimble, but yeah, it's guided. Like it doesn't want to straighten back up or so. Like it's happy and stable at an angle on the side. I'm feeling a lot the bark, the vibrational, the kind of emotion of the engine. That
oh, you're turning into a real Biscotti boy. The emotion of the engine.
Well, to compare it to the Panigale V2 or like an SB650 that I love to talk about, it has that. It doesn't have the kind of lawnmower quality that you worry about the parallel twin has. You can feel it in the handlebars. You can feel it in the tank, and I love that about riding.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to do is, we'll actually keep going forward here a little bit. I wanted you to feel the power of that engine a little bit, because it has such a cool flavor as it comes onto the boil and you get to really rev it out. I think the rev limit's about 12,000 on that thing, so it can really kind of get up and go.
Oh, no. I have no interest in speed.
Yes, you do, Josh.
Get out of here, Yammie.
No, we have to follow all the speed limits. We're already speeding. Let's not go crazy here.
No, I am chomping at the bit to see what this thing will do. It feels so good, though. This is it's so comfortable. It really is. I guess because the seat is pretty far forward. I don't think the bars are pitched like back towards me. I think my butt is further forward than it. And that's where I'm getting this more upright ergonomic.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little upright. It's definitely not a super sport bike. I mean, it is a super sport, but it's very chill, for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like putting some really low bars on a naked bike. I haven't ridden the Street Triple, but I know it has pretty low handlebars for a naked bike.
Yeah.
I just recently put lower bars on my bike as well, and it feels right in that ballpark. And you get this look. You don't have to look at handlebars.
Yeah. No, it just looks so good going down the road. I know people don't like the yellow color for whatever reason, but I think it's such a sweet color.
Yeah. Oh, and the red wheels.
Yeah, let's straighten it out here, man, if you want to see what it can do a little bit. Yeah, remember you got that auto blip, so.
Yeah, that's fun. It's definitely very tactile on the downshift, I think. And maybe it's just because I wasn't crazy, screaming in the revs. Wow. Very smooth power. And then you're hitting the auto blipper, and you just don't even really feel it shift. It's just going.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking at you here going down the road. It's a great looking package going down the road, man. What a cool bike. I'm trying not to simp for it too much, but I've always liked the RS. Even when it came out, it's so sweet.
Absolutely. This look is pretty timeless, and they got all of the like little details right. You can tuck it. I don't think you tuck that far in like you would something with a really big bubble. I imagine if you wanted to get full tuck, you'd probably want like a bigger bubble, because I still feel wind pressure on my helmet and everything like that. Beautiful sit up here.
What do you think about the sort of mid to low range power on that? Because since it is a twin and it is a 660, how do you feel about the punch that the engine has?
I think it has plenty. It's not, I just got off an MT-09, so it's not that, but it's plenty that you start going as much as you expect to go when you pull the throttle, and then the power just kind of keeps climbing, and it's really smooth all the way up. In the middle, it doesn't feel like savage mid-range though. That's like the MT-09, that's like the Hayabusa or something like that. It doesn't have that, but like we were talking about earlier, I haven't ridden a 600, like a standard 600, and felt how anemic it is, you know, in low revs.
Yeah, it's so funny, you've only ridden the Daytona 765, the MV Agusta F3800 RC, and the Panigale V2. But somehow you haven't ridden a 600.
You know, I just can't complain when you put it like that.
Yeah, no wonder you're a biscotti boy. So here's a question. So your SV makes about 70 something horsepower, I think, right?
Yep.
That thing makes about 100. Do you feel like it's a substantial enough jump to keep you interested, despite it having only 10 more cc's, right? Like, it's a very incremental difference in torque and displacement, but the top end's a little bit different. So I was just curious, from your perspective, do you think it's a worthy upgrade over your SV?
Absolutely, more than a worthy upgrade. But I'm not going to be naive and say that like everyone should just, you know, stay in this power range because it's great and you don't need more power or whatever. I understand that there will be people that leave the 600, 650 class because they want leader bike power, and this isn't that. That's clear. But I don't want more power when I'm riding my SV around, and because of that, this is so capable and this is so amenable and comfortable and nice, and that this is the package I'm looking for to enjoy my riding, to build my skill in craft riding. The smart rider would go this route and tell you that this is everything that you need. But again, there will be people who are like, it's only 100 horsepower.
Yeah, that's what I said in my review of it as well. I was like, you know, if you're looking at, you know, big highway monster pole kind of bike, or, you know, you like doing top speed runs with your buddies, you're probably not going to look at that bike, and it's probably not going to be a motorcycle that you're very interested in. But I think there's also something to be said, and I want to get your perspective on this. There's something to be said about upgrading, not just in terms of power. I think we often talk about upgrading on motorcycles. It's like, oh, you got to jump up the displacement ladder, you got to do this, you got to do that. But that RS660, despite having only, you know, maybe 25 more horsepower than your SV650, it's a nicer motorcycle basically in every other way. The brakes are better, the suspension's better, it looks cooler, it's got technology, you know, so you are upgrading, but just maybe not in that sort of super apparent engine kind of way, right?
Absolutely. Yep, and that comes through the moment you start riding a bike that feels like this. I can't imagine how many times it's been said on the channel that the horsepower figures are not the whole equation. And this is a great example of that, it's really not that different from 70 horsepower. It doesn't feel significantly faster or anything like that in the riding that we've done. It would destroy something like my bike on the track though, just because of how capable it is and the suspension. Once these things get to where you can really dial it in with like adjustable clip-ons and rear sets and stuff like that to get it exactly how you want, which is where the SV is at this point in its life. Man, I can't imagine wanting to upgrade a different way and just getting more power. That seems I don't know, shallow the right word?
Like, I think you said this once before, it's like, we ride bikes because they are fun and they are fast. Like, don't get us wrong, you know? Like, I like power just as much as the next guy. Like, every time I jump on the ZH2, I giggle like a schoolgirl because it's just ridiculous, right? But it's, you know, it's not the whole thing. Like, yeah, I like bikes with low power too. But yeah, what if we amp up the pace a little bit? Let's have some fun on this twisty.
Let's do it. I'll follow you.
Yeah, it's got a really kind of like angled power curve. Like right on the mid-range, it really kind of pushes forward, you know?
Yeah, you hit that 8-9 grand and it gets louder and the power definitely builds.
Yeah, it starts really boogieing.
Man, this is a blast.
Old MT-09 suspension, what are you gonna do?
But you wish you were on an RS660.
Oh yeah, I do, honestly.
Yeah, this thing's like a magnet to the road. Man.
Yeah, it loves being pushed, man. It's a really sweet little bike.
You know what I really like about it, though, is how much you do feel coming back as feedback with the bike. You do feel the suspension working. You do feel the engine revving. Like, it's a very tactile experience. And I think I've definitely ridden bikes where they kind of mute all of that. This is not that. This is it's a blast, and it has a lot of personality.
Yeah, it's why I really try to tell folks. I'm like, yeah, it's a parallel twin, but yeah, to your point, it's got tons of personality. It's a really cool little bike.
Yeah, the way it pulls out of one of these turns, it's crazy, even at 5,000 RPMs.
Yeah, it's got power. It's pretty good.
Yeah, awesome. Very fun bike.
Yeah, it's in its element in the twisties for sure. It loves it.
Big time, yeah.
And then the best part about it is you can just ride it home, put on the cruise control, and just, it's so chill to ride around town. It's not very punishing, you know?
No way. And the best thing about a city bike that looks like this is, yeah, right through the city, it's cool to have a beautiful looking bike. I think that's why so many people want to ride a 600 or an R1 or something, because they want to be seen going through a street looking like they're on a super sport bike, and this gives you that. I think the MT-09 looks weird, and I think the newest generation of them looks even weirder.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's something to be said about the sex appeal, right? Like, you want to ride a motorcycle because it looks cool. You want to look cool on it. That's one of the few bikes, right? When I first took it out, I kid you not, I got like 3 people to give me thumbs ups, and they were like looking at it and stuff. It's a very attention grabbing motorcycle. But yeah, no one's gonna look at the MT-09.
Hard enough out of second, but as soon as I hit third, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. I tell people as well, like, oh, they're like, oh, it only has 100 horsepower, but everywhere it matters, you're gonna keep up with all your buddies. It's not a slow motorcycle.
No. Definitely not a slow motorcycle. I mean, yeah, if you're racing at 100 miles and 80 miles an hour, you're not gonna keep up, but that's not the kind of riding we do.
I don't race at 80 miles per hour. I crash at 115, baby. So gut impression so far. Is it what you want it to be?
Yeah, I'm upset with you for making me ride it now because I like it so much.
You're like, I'm gonna look at some credit unions, see what kind of loans I can get.
I almost feel like what would I do to it? Like, I'm sitting here on it, riding it.
That's what I was saying
like,
when I was riding. I was like, maybe tank grips and an exhaust, and that's it. It's so good out the box.
Exactly. Like, there's nothing that bothers me about this bike. It is so nice riding.
Get on the boil, man. It's not like, you know, stretches your face out, rips your arms off fast, but God, is it like fun to rev out, you know?
It's revving so hard from 4,000 on kind of where it puts this bend on the tachometer. It revs so far, and you're just tearing through gears.
So I'm curious, because you have a lot of experience with your SV. The top end power on the RS660 is obviously quite different. So do you really feel like it's, you know, quite peppier and zestier up at the top versus your SV?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. When I want to do a fast pull on my bike, it's all in the mid range. You know,
yeah.
It definitely peters out at the end. This doesn't do that. This is, and you could tell that was an intentional decision on their part.
Yeah.
It's so potent in that 9, probably 8 to 11 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And the bike feels so good riding at that pace or at that rev range.
Yeah, there's a reason that I think literally almost every team in Moto America Twins Cup has now sold their SV650 project bike or SV650 platform bikes and FZ07 platform bikes, and everyone's on RS660 now.
If it comes like this,
yeah, from the factory, it's making like built SV numbers. It's like, dude, bye.
Yeah, this is an awesome bike. Here's a good question for you though. Is this a smart decision for somebody who actually wants to learn how to ride the track? Or do they need to, like if you're like, I want a motorcycle and you've got a cruiser and you want your second bike to be a sport bike you can go do a track day with, but you actually want to learn, do you need a Ninja 400 or is this a learnable platform?
I think that is learnable. the fundamentals are really good there, and it's not going to be as scary to ring that thing out like it would be a 600, because like when you're riding a 600 at race pace, like those are big ask. Like you're going really fast and you're really pushing it. You can with that thing too. I would say the 400 is a better platform still, but the RS660, it can be done, I think. It's a little expensive to do that with, but you know, if you've got the means, why not?
Well, and I mean, we're not even talking about like the guy who commutes on this thing and goes to the track 3-4 times a year. Yeah, man, it's so perfect. My SV was a blast for that, and this is like, oh my gosh.
I feel like, yeah, to your point, the type of dude is like, you got one bike in the shop or in the garage, you want a sport bike, you want to go to the track 3 or 4 times a year, it's that bike all day. It's that bike all day, every day, because it doesn't have to be uncomfortable on the daily ride. It's such a sweet little bike to poodle around town with, and then totally capable and ready to go at the track too.
Yeah, and at this price point, you have very few options if you want something that's going to match this and do that job.
Yeah, it's difficult to say what exactly would match that bike. We were actually thinking about this the other day at the shop, and I don't know, I get, like, you could say like, oh, CBR 650R, but I'm like, it's got way less features, and it's not exactly like a real kind of super sport kind of bike. It's much more of a, you know, street bike. Some people say the Ducati 950 Super Sport, but I kind of feel like that's a sport touring bike almost. You know, it weighs like 460 pounds. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of in a league of its own, which is weird. And it's so funny you mentioned that, because I've had so many comments on RS660 videos that we've made of people being like, why would I buy that when I can buy an MT-09, right? And I'm like, it's not the same thing. Like, it's a totally different kind of motorcycle, and it's cool that now we're sitting here with both of them. Yeah, and you rode the MT-09 up to ride the RS660. Do you feel like there's any sense in cross-shopping those two bikes? Maybe on price, but I feel like that's the only thing.
You know what kind of riding you want to do. You already have that figured out. You're not cross-shopping these.
Yeah. If you like to do wheelies, you're not going to look at the R660. You're looking at MT-09. That's fine. There's a bike for every kind of rider, right? Have you ever tried cruise control on a bike before?
No, I have not.
If you hold the little cruise control button to the side, I think that engages cruise control, and then I think if you tap it down once, it'll set the speed.
Okay. This bike makes some heat.
It's hot?
Yeah, it's a little bit warm. Cooking the insides of my thighs.
Hey man, it's Italian. That's what it's supposed to do.
I don't dislike it.
I don't know if cruise control will engage at like 40 miles per hour, but you can try it.
No, I think I was going too slow because it blinked at me.
Oh, okay. Maybe we have to get it out on a wider stretch of road.
Man, there are so many electronics that you can dive into on this thing.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
And all that doesn't seem to really draw away from the experience. I think for me, at first glance, it's like, yeah, all that's kind of unnecessary for me, or with my riding. But if you can just layer all that on top and the bike still comes through and feels this way, you're not upset for having it. And I'm sure a day would come where I would, really want to dial it in exactly for how I want the bike to feel on the road.
You know, it's interesting, I think about it now. I mean, Aprilia will sell you the Tuono 660, which is even cheaper than that thing, and it's still got all the same cool features. I think just a little bit here and there that's different than the handlebars. But I think that bike is priced at 10.5 or something, maybe? I don't remember.
That's interesting. They seem so similar. It feels like if you're going to release a naked variant, then your sport variant would be very sporty.
Yeah. No, they're basically the same.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. There goes that brake.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's smoking that devil's lettuce.
Must be the car right in front of us.
Yep, it's Austin, Texas. It's pretty common for that to happen.
One of the things I love about riding a motorcycle is that you're experiencing your surroundings so much.
You too can smell the pothead in front of you.
Man, I'll tell you what, I love this bike. This is really awesome. I can't find a single complaint.
Think deep, and is there anything you don't like about it on the initial ride?
In the really low rev ranges, it's just weird. The quick shifter obviously doesn't work, like super low and stuff, and it doesn't feel happy or lively. If you're used to a really motardy bike like that MT-09 or an SV650, it's just like really torquey, even at 3,000 RPMs. This one's a little bit different. That's some of the give and take I think that you get.
Yeah, I mean, the low-end power in the quick shifter, I mean, by the nature of the engine, it's not going to work that great because it's designed to be on the boil a little bit more and to be used when it's on the power and stuff. So yeah, to your point, I wouldn't say a super fair criticism, but yeah, I mean, if you're used to, you know, just keeping an engine around 3,000 or 4,000 RPM all day, you're going to have to keep that thing a little bit more on the boil.
It's a little overwhelming, all the technology, but that's just a learning curve. Like, you just got to get used to it. You got to be willing to buy a motorcycle and learn about it, which is a new thing. You know, a lot of bikes you can just jump on and go and you know everything that they're doing, but this isn't. And it's 2021, you know, so bikes are pretty sophisticated. I think that's not an uncommon thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the days of a bike with a cable throttle, no traction control, no systems is, I mean, that's a hard thing to find except for the beginner bike category nowadays. It just works really, really well. I think the only downsides to it is, you know, if you do live somewhere that doesn't have someone who can service an Aprilia, that might be a little bit difficult. We're lucky. We have AF1 Racing here in Austin that they do Aprilia work, so that's super easy. So there's that. It is the first year and model of a new motorcycle, so that might be an issue. But beyond that, I think it's kind of it, really. Man, it just looks so sweet going down the road.
How's it sound?
It sounds like a little baby V4.
Yeah.
Really, no, it really does. It's got a great sound to it.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like the Panigale, the V2.
So you'd ridden the V2 Panigale. Doesn't that feel so much like the V2 Panigale?
Yeah, a lot. Definitely. The vibrations feel similar to the Panigale, which is crazy. That engine could not be more different. Yeah, and I think the Panigale has a little bit more power everywhere, basically.
Yeah, definitely. It's a way faster bike, yeah. It makes about 55 more horsepower, so yeah, it's faster.
And that's about it. Other than that, it's like, I think it feels lighter. It does feel lighter.
I would say I haven't taken the RS out on track yet, but just riding it around on street, I can tell it's much more stable mid-corner than the Panigale was. The Panigale was really twitchy mid-corner on track. I didn't like that very much. The brakes also on the Ducati weren't as great as I'd like them to be, and it weighs, I think, 45 more pounds than that bike, so I imagine that bike would handle itself a little bit better on track, but surprisingly similar, I would say.
Yep, definitely. The suspension, I think, is set up a little bit different from the factory. This is a little bit more rigid. I feel a lot more of the road. I kind of like that, though. I don't want to not feel the road.
And I think it's usable, too. I think that the, you know, Panigale V2, especially the F3 800 RC, you know, those bikes are so fast that you can do first, second gear maybe, and then maybe third if you're feeling bold, but, you know, you go to jail speed so quickly on those bikes, and it just makes it less fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can pull through 3 gears here out of a stoplight, and you're all right. You know, you're not doing good at jail speeds.
No. My God, we've been stuck behind this pothead for forever. He's still there.
I know, the smell's been like...
I still smell weed this whole time.
And I don't feel any tension in my back. I think I've felt at least a little bit of tightening up because I'm not used to riding super sports anytime I ride a really hunched over bike. And I'm not feeling anything with this guy.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty easygoing bike to ride in terms of the angle of the back on it, you know? How's that heat?
It's not bad. It's there, but it's not bad. For city riding, the on-off throttle in first gear is a little bit snatchy. But with this, you know, if I'm rolling, I probably would rather be in second gear just because it's not as snatchy.
Yeah, I keep looking back, dude. That's just a great looking motorcycle. I just can't say it enough. It's really sweet.
And we're giving it away. I can't believe that. Somebody's gonna win this dang thing. This is such a... I can't imagine winning this bike.
And it's not gonna be you, Josh. Unfortunately, you will not win that bike. You do work for Yammie Noob, so you cannot win the bike.
I've read the rules. I know. What do you think is gonna be the most popular color for this bike?
Probably the black and red. These people are basic, but they should choose the yellow.
I was just thinking that. I was like, this should be the flagship color.
I think it is because it's $200 extra.
Okay. You can buy this bike and then you can wear only high-vis gear and match your bike.
You'll never get into a wreck. Everyone will see you, always.
Full banana bike.
With bananas in your backpack.
Oh, a dream.
For a snack. It's really nice for that car to directly throw litter onto me. There was that Ford in front of us. The woman just lowered the window and just threw litter and it hit me and the bike.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Josh, it's the official highway test of the RS660, finally. Woo! Just kidding.
Cruise control was killer.
It really worked well, didn't it? Well, everyone, we are going to make it back up to Yammie Noob HQ through this stop-and-go traffic. I hope you enjoyed Josh's first ride on the I almost said SB650, on the RS660. So it's muscle memory at this point, Josh. You and SB650, they're correlated in my brain. Give me a final rundown on that bike. What do you feel, man?
This is an 8 motorcycle. 8.5.
You said the Hayabusa was a 10 out of 10. You think that's an 8 out of 10?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, dude. I mean, I'm serious. The people are gonna know the Hayabusa in 50 years. This bike has yet to prove if it's gonna be known in 50 years.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. You gave it a 10 based on the legendary status of it.
I love this bike though, and it's such a joy to do a ride like this. And this is a great test that we did. It definitely confirmed all of my sneaky suspicions about it. It's an awesome bike.
Yeah. So you think it's a worthy upgrade for your SV?
Big time, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely solidified that you know, kind of where I should cap the power kind of for my next one. You realize how much fun a bike like this is, and all of the things you can build around power to have a complete riding experience. This is a great example of that.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Remember, we're giving away that Aprilia RS660. It is neither mine nor Josh's. So hit the link down below to yammynoob.co. Go to yammynoob.merch.com as well. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win. Make sure you get signed up to win it. So we'll catch you on the next one. See you later.
Between this and my desert sled, you might think I'm just some horrible biscotti boy, but really, if you click this video right over here, I will prove to you that I love more motorcycles than just Ducati biscottis. Click it and find out.